Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic, I want to go over the running taper and what I think about tapering and what you really should be thinking about in terms of your own racing. I know a lot of you, more than likely, have done 3-week tapers. You start dropping your volume and intensity 3 weeks out from your main race. I certainly have done that as well, and in most cases, a 3-week taper did not work for me. It's not going to say that it's not going to work for you, but I always felt like once I started dropping my volume and intensity that far out, 3 weeks out from my main race, I always felt flat going into major races. And so what I teach in my running courses and the training plans is I focus on a 10-day taper. Okay, you continue to train hard, your intensity remains high all the way up until you're 10 days out from your main race. And usually if it's whether it's a 5 or a 10K, 10 miler, half marathon or marathon, usually 4 days out from those particular races, I have my athletes do a 3-mile tempo at goal race pace. So at goal 10K pace, 10 miler, half marathon, marathon pace. That is kind of like the last reminder of what we're training the athletes to do. But I think a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper will set you up more for success because, again, 10 days is plenty of time to prepare and to relax and to recover from the hard workouts you've been doing. You know, as I always talk about, a longer buildup is better than a shorter buildup because, again, you have more time to build up that aerobic fitness. You've built up more easy, relaxed mileage, so that again you're much stronger. Your ligaments and your muscles and tendons are stronger to handle those very fast track and road workouts that you do once you get into race-specific training and speed development training, and then you go into the taper phase. So that's kind of like the key concept of the Run, Dream, Achieve philosophy and how I set up the training plans and running courses. There's 4 specific phases of how we train. We focus first on the aerobic phase, where you're building easy, relaxed mileage with strides, 5 to 6 100-meter strides, either 2 to 3 times per week. Again, you're working on acceleration, you're working on your speed, your overall leg turnover, and working on your form. Then we move into race-specific training, where we're focusing on running at paces that are right at the anaerobic threshold or slightly faster than the anaerobic threshold. We do that for a number of weeks, and then we move into speed development, where you're running more at the VO2 max effort, and that's running around anywhere from 95% to 105% of your maximum heart rate. So extremely fast running. You're running at paces that are so fast your body can't clear that lactic acid faster than it's building up. But the key thing that you want to keep in mind when doing speed workouts or road workouts, or even when doing tempo runs or faster varied pace long runs, is you're improving your body's lactate tolerance by running much, much faster than goal race pace. And again, you're going to be able to sustain race pace longer because you paid attention to running at paces that were so fast, so aggressive, you could only handle a few seconds to a few minutes at those particular efforts. And that's why you don't want to spend too much time during your training week at those efforts, but you do want to spend some time, which, one VO2 max workout per week, one tempo run, one long run, but not running long, slow, and easy every single weekend. Okay. Yes, it's going to help you build your endurance. You're going to be very strong in terms of your time on your feet and burning fat and building your endurance up. But it's not going to prepare you, if you're running long, slow, easy every single weekend, it's not going to prepare you to race at goal race pace and to be able to handle those pace changes in the race when your competition is throwing surges at you and you just cannot react because you spent too much time, too much of your mileage running too aerobically. So you built your endurance, but because you spent so much of a high percentage, 80 to 90% of your weekly volume too aerobically, you just could not handle the changes in paces that your competitors were throwing at you. So don't get bent out of shape knowing that, seeing other athletes running faster times right now. Okay, you can make up for that in due time. Changing up your strategy, changing up how you prepare for your races is absolutely essential. Finding out what were the things that you were doing in the past. In this case, it might have been just a matter of you dropping volume, dropping intensity too soon and you went into your key races feeling flat when you really should have felt rested and motivated, and to be able to really perform on the day that it really counts at your main race. So my philosophy is to consider doing a 10-day taper rather than 3 weeks. I think it's going to help you to go into your race feeling more prepared, because you continue to train up until only a few days out from your main race. And again, 10 days, if you're doing if you're doing very little in terms of very hard anaerobic workouts during those last 10 days, which is how I have the training plans and how I teach in my running courses, that's how we do it. Once we get to the 10-day point, once we're 10 days out from the main race, volume drops considerably. Once it's 10 days out, really it's about a 60% drop in volume from the previous week. And then the week of the race, you're literally hardly doing anything, outside of just 2 to 3 mile jogs, and then doing that 3 miler at goal race pace 4 days out from the main race. And then really after that, those 3 days leading up to the main race, it's just a matter of stretching, hydrating well, and either jogging, doing some light strides. But at that point, really at 10 days out, there's nothing more than you can already do, because you've already done everything in terms of your preparation if you've done things correctly and you've done your homework in training. And so that's my philosophy of what it really takes to run fast. You have to spend more time training at a higher heart rate during your weekly workouts. Okay, if your aerobic fitness is still critical, so don't misunderstand me. I don't want you to think that, well, all he's talking about is we have to continue to run really fast every single day. No, because if you don't allot sufficient time between your hard anaerobic workouts and you continue to push hard, it's going to be very hard to adapt, for one thing, because again, the benefits of our hard training, the hard workouts we're doing today, you're going to see the benefits from those hard workouts several weeks, several months from now. It's not a matter of a few days you're going to get in great shape. So yes, you still have to focus on easy, relaxed running. The way I have it set up and the way I train my athletes and the way I trained over the years, my hard days were extremely hard. So I had no issue jogging, 9-minute mile pace. And again, I was able to run 5:19 mile pace for a marathon. So it was not unnatural for me to go out and run 8:30 to 9-minute mile pace on my easy days, and I felt no concern over that as well. So again, and I would do that, give myself 48 hours of recovery, usually 48 hours of recovery, sometimes even 3 days of recovery between each hard anaerobic workout I was doing. If it was track workouts, if it was tempo runs, I would usually, 2 days was fine. But those faster, varied pace long runs I talk about in my other videos, those particular workouts were the hardest workout I did in my 30-year racing career. Okay, those particular workouts usually took me about 3 days to recover. So I was just jogging easy for 3 days after I did those long runs. Always alternate a harder long run followed the next week by an easy, relaxed long run. Okay, but in terms of your running taper, in order to do this correctly, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to training hard anaerobically, but also allotting sufficient time after those hard training workouts to ensure that you're adapting to the hard training and that you get the benefit from that. And again, a 10-day taper is going to do you better because, again, you're not dropping volume, you're not dropping intensity so far out from your main race. And again, a 3-week taper does work for a lot of athletes. And I'm not saying that it won't work for you, but it's just something I want you to consider. Instead of doing your 3-week taper that you've tried in the past, start doing a 10-day taper. And let me know in the comment section in the next few months how that particular change in your tactics helped you with your racing. I think it's going to help a lot of runners by switching from a 3-week taper to a 10-day taper to really start getting some bigger PRs and going into the race properly rested at the right time. So I hope this video is helpful for you all. Definitely check out the resources below all my videos. If you have a question or you want to leave a comment, something that you some tips that you got out of this video, feel free to leave me a comment. I will definitely respond back to you. Wish you all the best and wish you all continued success in your training and racing.